On Casey's Top 40, I'm Casey Kasem. Now we're up to a classic case of life imitating art. The latest hit by a rock star whose career was born on a TV show, a show where he pretended to be a rock star. He's David Cassidy, and his career as a singer goes back to 1970 when he landed the role of Keith Partridge in the TV sitcom called The Partridge Family. The cast also included actors Danny Bonaducci, Susan Day, and David's stepmother, Shirley Jones. They played a singing family who toured the country in a multicolored converted school bus. The actors were so successful at pretending to be a hit musical group that it wasn't long before they became one, making records in real life. And it wasn't long before the imaginary Partridge Family scored with 3 very real top 10 hits in a row. They were Doesn't Somebody Want to Be Wanted, I'll Meet You Halfway, and the #1 smash, I Think I Love You. The Partridge Family became a huge success, and David Cassidy became a top teen idol both as a member of the group and as a solo artist. David's biggest solo hit was the top 10 smash Cherish in 1971. And after a few more singles, he retired from pop music to concentrate on his acting career and his love of raising horses. Well, now in the 90s, the real-life rocker who got his start playing the part of a rocker on TV is back on the charts again. Entering at number 37 on Casey's Top 40, here is David Cassidy with Lying to Myself.
You're tuned to the Pulse of Pop, American Top 40 with The Shadow. Now here's that singer who's making a comeback. He made his Broadway debut when he was 18 years old, playing the feature role in an Alan Sherman musical called The Leaves Are Falling. That was in 1968. 2 years later, when he was 20, he started his first network TV series along with his stepmother. And it was about a family pop band, and he was their lead singer. And they made real records that hit the chart. And in the next couple of years, this singer and actor chalked up 11 top 40 hits. And by the time he was 21, he made his first million. And in 1975, at the age of 25, David Cassidy retired. He's come out of retirement several times for TV projects and for a couple of record albums. And now at the age of 40, he's finished his latest album titled David Cassidy. And the first release from that album becomes his first top 40 hit in almost 18 years. Debuting at number 36, here's Lying to Myself.
Casey's Top 40.
I'm Casey Kasem. We're counting down the 40 biggest hits in the USA.
Number 28.
Edging up 2 notches is singer David Cassidy. Back in the 70s, he was a teen idol whose face was plastered all over lunchboxes and magazine covers. He had love-struck little girls camped out on his doorstep 24 hours a day. That was almost 2 decades ago. Now, David's on the comeback trail with Lying to Myself.
Hi, this is David Cassidy. More Billboard hits are coming up as Shadow keeps counting them down right here on American Top 40.
Now here's a man who was the brunt of some jokes by a couple of LA DJs, and it led to his comeback in the top 40. That's David Cassidy's story, and David told us how the whole thing happened.
It was on my birthday about a year and 5 months ago. And I had the radio on, and I was listening to these radio personalities who were rather outrageous. And they were being very sarcastic, and I suppose probably indulging their imaginations to a point of, I wonder what David Cassidy's doing now. He's probably, got a couple of chicks, enjoying the good life, drinking champagne. And I thought, now is the time I really should address this and dispel the myth about me. So I picked up the phone, and I did kind of the homeless, tragic David Cassidy. I did, I'm living in a garbage can and things haven't been going too good for me. So they saw I had a sense of humor about my fame. So I went down and did about 3 hours on their radio show about a week or so later. And I played 3 demos that I had made at my house. By the end of the 3 hours, I had 3 offers from 3 different labels. One of them was Enigma.
Well, Enigma signed him up, and the first release from that album debuted on American Top 40 3 weeks ago. This week, his comeback hit climbs 2 notches to number 27. Here's David Cassidy.
American Top 40.
We're in our second hour of Billboard Chart Power at American Top 40. I'm Shadoe Stevens, and the 29 biggest hits in the USA are still to come, so let's track them down and tune them in. You're with The Shadow on AT40. You ever meet your hero or idol? Sometimes it can be a big surprise, not what you expected. And that was the way it was for David Cassidy. He's been in or around show business his whole life, but when he met the biggest rock and roll idol of all time, he learned the lesson of his life.
Elvis was one who bought the dream. He did it, achieved it, and ultimately it killed him. When I met him, I thought, this ain't going to be me in 15, 20 years. And it was one of the reasons, and I wouldn't say that was the reason that I decided, but I got a little glimpse of the future, like this could be you, and thought, no. When you reach that kind of success where you can't walk down the street, you can't go in a restaurant, you can't go anywhere, and you have to be hidden to get out of your home, it becomes too much of a price to pay. And that's why I retired.
That was the day David Cassidy met the king of rock and roll, Elvis Presley. And now, after almost 18 years, David is back in the top 40, holding at number 27 on AT40.
The hits from